You're quite the gatherer, aren't you, little Rost? Children, come with me. She's an outcast, to be shunned.
How do prejudices get formed? So Aloy is 6 years old at this stage, and the Nora mother's kids that are around her are probably around the same age. We're not born with prejudices. We're born mimics, looking at our parental figures for how should we react in certain situations. And that mirroring, our part of our brain that deals with mirroring, is really set to on. It's recording all of these new situations and how should we deal with it. So for Rost, he's learning that Aloy should be shunned and treated. She is an other, a different person, not at the same level as where they are. And the way that the mother uses should be left alone. You can see how much weight that carries on Rost, but also on Aloy. She looks around at everyone else. She doesn't yet have an understanding of why she would be treated differently. And she sees this beautiful behavior, the mother towards the kids, and how they're affirmed and how much we need that as children, that happy affirmation for those that we look up to. And she picks her berries in hoping to get that same affirmation and being helpful and appreciated and cared for. And you can see as she's running away and then falls into this pit, she's scared about being there, but she's more curious than she is scared. She naturally is inquisitive and wants to explore.
Rost! Down here! He won't hear me. Cave?
Instead of fear, she wants to find out more about it, so much so that she knows to put it on in the same way that this person had died wearing it. I think many of us, especially when we were young, might have been paralyzed by fear or left in the fetal position in this cave for a very long time, worried. But instead, she's going to figure her own way out and learn and explore from it. It shows that she has a lot of leadership traits, but also this very strong belief in herself and her ability to survive in these circumstances. We deal with the amount that you believe in you and how much you see the world as a safe place. And depending on those two parameters, we'll see how far away you'll be able to travel from your natural caregivers and be able to feel safe and secure.
What is that on your face?
Nothing.
Did you find it down there?
No.
So, like, you can see how she uses this deceptive tactic, which kids do. Like, they don't yet know how to get away with things. They're kind of playing, and they'll just at the beginning of learning social engineering and what they can say and not say. She doesn't want to lose it. And so because of that, she says she didn't find it there, though. There's nowhere else that she could have found it. She just wants to make sure that she can keep it. This is her treasure.
Give it to me.
Rost does a really nice job, though. He doesn't grab it from her and take it away. He puts out his hand and he says to give it to him. And I think that that's a really important tool for parents to teach children. Respect.
No.
Aloy, such things are dangerous.
No!
And he does try to kind of grab at it twice, but he doesn't rush up over to her and take it, which he completely could because he's huge and so much bigger. He catches himself, though everything in him wants to keep her safe. And knowing that this is an item from the old world and it could be dangerous to her, you can understand why he would want to. That if you don't want to have your kids grabbing things from each other, then you shouldn't grab things from them, because all they end up learning is that bigger people or stronger people can grab and take from smaller people at their will. Your children, the bigger children, will do it to the younger children also. It causes a lot of angst and animosity, and it makes you feel helpless and powerless. And then you can see him thinking. He's going through and problem solving, which is a wonderful skill as a parent, especially when you're upset, especially when your child was missing. She went down to an area she shouldn't have, and she came back with a trinket from it. But he takes that moment so that he can make the best decision. How is he going to handle this? He doesn't want to crush her self-esteem. He doesn't want to crush her sense of independence, but he also wants her to be safe. So he's doing a cost analysis right now in this moment.
I'm gonna go sneaking away from home. You'll need to know how to survive in the wild. You will learn to hunt.
And I love it. His decision in this situation was that, you know what? Well, she's going to be, he already knows that there's no way that he's going to be stopping her. She's way too oppositional, which usually we look at being oppositional as something that's bad, but actually it's a lot of the leadership traits. A lot of people that run things and are looked up to by other people are people that do things differently, that think outside of the box, that are willing to do what other people won't, that are hard to be constrained, and look at the rules as something that are loosely followed unless they can understand the reasons why. And so knowing that, he does that wonderful parenting decision of he's not going to protect her from the world. He can't. So instead, he's going to prepare her for it.
The wilds can be dangerous, Aloy. See this plant? It's called southbrush. Always keep your pouch full of medicinal berries, flowers.
I love how calm and soothing Rost is in his teaching. Even his voice makes me feel calm and secure. And he doesn't watch over his shoulder to Aloy. He lets her be able to walk on her own and trusts that she'll be able to figure out. But he still stays really close, just in case he's needed.
That's the last of them. Let's move on.
Rost understands or innately knows that when someone is learning a new skill, it's really important for the people that are teaching you to be calm and serene. Because if not, that added pressure of stress of someone sounding accusatory or having a very strong voice or being very critical will actually decrease the chances that you'll be able to remember what you have to do. So especially when you're learning a new skill, having that stressful, imposing figure will actually lessen the chances that you'll be able to deal with things and deal with them properly, because you're doing all of this higher learning stuff. When you get stressed, you become limbic, meaning that you're kind of going on automatic. This is completely different than how Kratos treats his son, Atreus. I actually, when playing the game, felt immensely stressed. And I really think that perhaps, and no one's gonna watch it, but like a Rost versus Kratos on their parenting skills would be a fascinating video. No one would watch, but it would be so fascinating, because when Kratos took away the bow, I'm sorry, that was the wrong thing to do.
I can sneak through.
You will not. Aloy!
And children, we often don't understand our own mortality, but she really believes in herself, but she also wants to be useful. She wants to prove herself, not only just for herself, but also to Rost, that she can do things that adults can, that she can make a difference, that she can contribute to their family. And for children's development, it's really important to be able to be given opportunities to do that. And that's why helicopter parenting, when you're hovering and always over every child, not letting them fall down or make mistakes, can be so detrimental to your own feeling of security and control, and actually can cause a lot of anxiety in children. Then you have that oppositionalness. She's doing it anyways, even though he specifically said no, which can end up getting her in trouble, especially in this case. And this age between 6 and 8 is really important for our own self-development. This is when we're starting to learn our sense of efficacy and who we are, and we're starting to see our self-worth not only within ourselves but also reflected in our actions and how other people treat us. And we start to internalize those concepts based on our efficacy of being able to handle the world around us.
That boy should not have spoken to us. It's against tribal law. We'll go home now.
I know the way.
And we see the way that Aloy deals with things when she's upset. At this age, she has a lot of anger within her and angst. And whenever she's hurt or put down or someone says something against her, you can hear it in her voice that she's really angry.
Seal your lips. Seal your lips.
And you hear that negative self-talk. She's saying something over and over again. It's getting programmed into her that other people have to keep quiet around her. She is not someone worth talking to. And she's starting to form the view of who she is. But that happens and it becomes from outward, from someone else saying something, when it either really strongly hurts us or we hear it over and over again, it starts to become our internal voice.
Stay away, no mother!
And you hear that bullying. Now, it's kind of interesting that no mother in this case is said as a slur, and it hurts her. That's what happens. Kids can be cruel. They're just doing what they hear about, and they don't really understand the consequences or how it might hurt someone else, even saying something as simple as no mother. Because for Aloy, she now knows that that is what has set her apart. One of the reasons that have set her apart from the tribe. It has made her an outsider. And being an outsider is so damaging. We want to be accepted by the tribe. We needed the tribe to survive, and being alone greatly decreased our chances of survival. And that's why today as humans, we really do still want to be accepted, loved, cared about, and appreciated for who we are. I love that moment when she catches the rock. I just love it. And I love in the game, you end up having these like 3 choices in these moments. And in this case, you ended up with the aim for his head, drop the rock, or knock the rock out of his hand. Now, I don't know what you chose, tell me in the comments below, but I chose the knock the rock out of his hand. Why? Because 1 is, that's so cool. And 2, I would never be able to do that in real life because I have no aim. But, oh, do I ever wish I could. And I love that face that she gives, that little tiny smirk of I know that I got you and be careful. I think that was probably one of those proud moments that Aloy will always hold on to.
Back to picking berries!
You're bleeding.
But after that, after she no longer has to put up that defensive front, she's able to cry about the hurt of being ostracized from others. And you can see Rost softening as he sees her cut and how pained it is for him as a father to be able to see his child go through this kind of pain that he can't protect her from.
Why am I an outcast?
Aloy, this is not the time.
Who was my mother?
Aloy.
And she's asking those questions of why are people treating me differently? Why do they think that I'm not as good as they are? And his answer of it's not the time is probably not the best of answers, because the time to share and to talk about it is when she asks. Because with her not knowing, she might go to these dark places that it's something that she did, that she contributed to, or that she really isn't worth as much as everyone else. And so I think that it's really important for Ross to be able to give her as many answers and an understanding of why this is happening to her as possible. And sometimes there aren't great answers to it, but you still have to address it.
You were just a newborn when the matriarchs brought you to me.
So the matriarchs, they know? So how do I make them tell me?
And I love her power, that how do I make them tell me? That I'm not taking no for an answer. And Rost already knows her level of oppositionalness, her level of stubbornness. There's no way that he's going to be able to stop her.
It would take years of training.
I don't care. Tell me.
The proving. Those who pass become braves.
We now know that he knew at that moment that he's training her one day to leave him, because if she passes the proving, she becomes a tribe member and he'd still be an outcast, and so he would lose her. But he's still willing to do that because that's what she wants. And that's that great parenting, that our job is to parent children so that they can leave us and be independent and no longer need us. And that's such a heartbreaking thing when this is a person that you love more than you love yourself. And these scenes, one is I love that it's going to take years. This is not one of those things that in 2 weeks she's going to become a master and beat everyone else that's been doing it for decades. But I have to say, it never gets old to be able to watch these montages of someone learning a skill and being able to go through all those trials and tribulations, because I think that for a lot of us, it's really important, especially for us that have that fear of failure, to be able to know that you're going to fail so many times in order to get better at something. I think that we need to teach our children that at an earlier age, that, you know what, in life, everyone doesn't get a medal, that sometimes it's going to be hard, and that perseverance and resiliency, that's what's going to get you through it. And not only get you through it, but be able to help you achieve those goals that you really want to achieve. And I love that. I love Rost. He's there. So he's there and he's going to let her fall down and get bruised and get hurt. But he's there to watch over, to make sure if there is anything that is a life and death danger, that he's going to make sure that he's protecting her. And I think that he does a great job of watching over her. He's there to be able to help her, but not to stunt her growth. He wants her to be able to learn and to be able to make mistakes. I love that when she's hanging there, he goes to offer his hand, but she doesn't take it. She believes in herself and she's able to pick herself up. And I love those kind of moments where someone really believes in themselves, that growth, that ability to see that someone is starting to know their worth. I love that scene. I love that scene. I love it. She's in the air. He's like worried about her. And then when she does this amazing shoulder roll, she comes back and now she's as an adult Aloy. It's just so cool. There's nothing else to add, but I love it. Just like when she was a child, he's still there to shoot it just in case she happened to miss, but she doesn't. She is able to get the watcher, and she looks to him still for affirmation. Even as adults, we still want that affirmation from that parental figure in our life. We still want them to be proud of us. And then his look afterwards is pride, but also that bittersweet. She doesn't need him like she used to. And make sure you check out my whole series of videos, all ad-free, sponsor-free, on Nebula, including my first exclusive special on the animation of Arcane and why this unique style creates such an intense emotional connection. I'll also have more exclusive videos available only on Nebula, where I have the luxury of making videos that don't have to be optimized for YouTube. And these are all ad-free, sponsor-free on Nebula, bundled in for free when you sign up with today's sponsor at curiositystream.com/Georgia Dow, or click the link below. And right now, because you're watching this video, you get CuriosityStream on sale for 26% off. That's less than $15 for the whole year, the price of a large pizza. And it includes thousands of amazing documentaries and series like, I picked a strange one, Super Slime. Slime's a funny thing. It's weird and it's wonderful, and it's much more beneficial than you would probably realize. It can help salamanders stay wet so they can breathe through their skin, provide a life-supporting bubble, and help developing frogs and even snails get from point A to point B. And this is the best way to support educational creators directly. You get the best deal in streaming today for 26% off CuriosityStream, less than $15 a year, and Nebula bundled in for free. Yes, free. Just click on the link or go to curiositystream.com/Georgia Dow. And so that's a little bit of Aloy's beginning journey. The game is so much fun. Let me know if you played it and what you think about this video in the comments below. And if you like this video, hit subscribe. And if you want to see more about how I create these outfits, you can support me on Patreon.